Sorry for the interruption. So, the satraps and the other two governors were plotting against Daniel because he was incorruptible. He would not take bribes. He would not look the other way while they skimmed money or hurt people, robbed people. Just did corrupt political things. So they plotted against him. They wanted to get rid of Daniel. And they proposed a law to the king. Once the king made a law, according to their custom, it was irrevocable. It must be carried out. No exceptions. They appealed to his vanity and said, we propose that you set a 1-month celebration of you, O king, that nobody could pray to any other god except you. Because they all knew that Daniel, one thing Daniel was very consistent on, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, he would pray first. On his knees in a room built, his own little chapel that was visible from the street. So everybody saw him praying and they knew his routine. So the satraps and the other two governors devised this plan to see if Daniel would pray to his God instead of to the king, and thus have Daniel thrown into the lion's den. Here we are. We're picking up at Daniel 9. Let's see here. Consequently, King Belshazzar was very much frightened. Oops, I said King Darius. The king's name was Belshazzar. Was very much frightened, and his complexion was changing within him, and his grandees were perplexed. So, when the king Belshazzar found out that Daniel had violated the law, he knew it was a death sentence, or he had to be thrown into the lion's den. And there was no revoking the law of the king. So he realized then he had been tricked. And now he's apprehensive, worried about losing his best governor, and he likes Daniel personally also, and now he's puzzled, he says, perplexed. As regards the queen, because of the words of the king and his grandees, the grandees are the important people, the rich people, the educated people. The king and his grandees, she entered right into the banquet hall. The queen answered and said, O king, keep living, even to times indefinite. Do not let your thoughts frighten you, nor let your complexion be changed. There exists a capable man in your kingdom. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Daniel 5. Daniel 6, verse 9. In accord with this, Daniel 8, I'll start. Now, O king, may you establish the statute and sign the writing in order for it not to be changed, according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which is not annulled. Verse 9. In accord with this, King Darius himself signed the writing and the interdict. But Daniel, as soon as he knew that the writing had been signed, entered into his house, and the windows in his roof chamber being opened for him toward Jerusalem, even 3 times in a day, he was kneeling on his knees and praying and offering praise before his God, as he had been regularly doing prior to this. At that time, these able-bodied men themselves crowded in and found Daniel petitioning and imploring favor before his God. Well, we got to stop there at verse 10. So we'll pick this up at verse 11 next week. And get more into Daniel. God bless you. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And become an organ donor. Give your heart to Jesus. I'll see you next week.